My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Hey, welcome back. Today we've got a special treat zooming in from Baltimore, Maryland. We have a gentleman that does a lot in real estate. Carlos Cumber comes to real estate. He's got family that have been in the real estate business as realtors for many, many years. He comes from corporate America. He's been very high up in leadership roles in a lot of big companies. And nowadays, he does a couple of things, but everything is real estate focused. He is a realtor, but more importantly for our show, he is an active real estate investor in Baltimore, Maryland, and he runs an I Buy Houses business. So Carlos, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Hey, well, Dave, first of all, thank you for having me out. I really enjoy the show, the podcast, and you bring a lot of great knowledge. So it's a privilege to be here.
Well, thank you very much, sir. So Carlos, give us a little snapshot of what does life look like for Carlos Cumber with real estate investing, juggling being a realtor and being an active investor yourself and doing flips and wholesales and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's funny. I kind of pick both sides of the business, and realtors usually don't always know what to do with investors, and investors many times see realtors as an obstacle for it. So
yeah, a lot of investors don't have much to do with realtors. So yeah, you straddle the fence there.
Exactly. But I did a little bit of a hybrid approach because the real estate, of course, being an agent gives you access to the information, the MLS. You understand how the process works. But the investing itself is really the heart and soul and the fun part for me. So, while as a real estate agent, I'll generally focus on the 500 and up type of clientele and more listing based. I do exactly the opposite when I purchase homes with my, and I have a franchise. We buy houses, home investors, the We Buy Ugly Houses people. And we focus on mostly starter homes. So those
Okay.
two sides of the business kind of dovetail for me. And each one keeps me very busy. You end up making a lot of phone calls, a lot of leads, and a lot of operations. Everybody sees real estate as fun and exciting, but very rarely is it fun and exciting or sexy. It's a lot of follow up, a lot of conversations, and a lot of I think it requires a lot of emotional intelligence to manage those transactions on both sides of the business.
I'm just thinking, man, if you're coming from corporate America, especially if you're in kind of like a leadership role and you had a lot of minions working under you, answering the phone and doing a lot of this stuff, this must have been kind of a big shock to your system, switching gears like this.
Wow. Was it? It's funny because they say you never miss your water till your well runs dry. But the same is true of your HR team, the ops team, the sales team.
Yeah.
And those of you who've already taken the leap into entrepreneurship, you know that
Yeah.
it's kind of a lonely thing, but you're also very good at some things, and you also need a lot of support on the others. So, while there are many people who successfully become solo entrepreneurs, I'm a team guy. I like winning as a team because I know I have certain strengths and I need the other people's strengths to offset my opportunities. So yeah, it's a shock to the system, but the things you learn in corporate also you can bring that experience with you.
Well, I'm thinking it was probably a really smart idea to get in on the franchise side of things because again, that brings a bit of that corporate world to you, which you know so well, policies and procedures and SOPs and all this kind of good stuff, and hopefully some support from head office, all that sort of thing. So tell us a little bit about how the business side of things works, if you don't mind, Carlos.
Yeah, you absolutely are right. So you bring up a great point. When I do things, I like to get off the ground quickly. And
Yeah.
I know I can do that alone. I can go so far, but with a team, with a network, with a franchise, bringing that structure of the business there. And I think We Buy Ugly Houses, one of the things they really excel at, and I enjoy them, is they bring me qualified leads, right? So lead generation is probably one of the greatest challenges that you have on, for any investor.
Any business, man, any business. Yeah.
Exactly. So that is one thing they excel at. When I walk through the door, I walk through with an instant credibility A gentleman talked to me today. I picked you because I knew the brand, I trusted the
I
brand, and
see
it
the
wasn't.
billboards all over the place. I see the ads popping up. I see all that kind of stuff, right?
And you can walk in with your swag on your shirt and you skip part of the conversation, which can be a big distraction. Like, who are you and why should I trust you?
Yeah, and
Right?
how much experience do you have, and that kind of stuff, right?
Exactly. You nailed it. So they bring a lot of that, but like any business, nobody's going to do it all for you, right? You're going
Yeah,
to have to decide how you come to market, how you advance those leads, and kind of how you bring out your personality and your values within any business that you generate, whether it's investing or or a cupcake shop.
yeah. So, Carlos, tell me, when it comes to your I buy houses business, sounds like you do a few different things. What's kind of the bread and butter of that business? Is it doing flips? Is it holding on to those properties? Is it wholesaling deals? Is it all of the above? What does it look like?
You got it. Great question. And I would say I usually let the property and my account balances determine my strategies.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are one size fits all. So every property they're going to flip it. Every property they're going to wholesale it. Maybe they just buy rentals. I usually allow all of those things to happen differently and a little more organically, depending on where the needs of the business are. Everybody loves wholesaling because what? You get quick money, right? And it's relatively low risk, and
Mhm.
your cash conversion cycle is much shorter. But you're going to take home a lot less money than you would take home if you did that flip yourself, because a
Yeah.
good wholesale deal, you should leave enough room for the next investor as well as, them being able to profit. So that one, and then let's be real. Unless you want to run on a treadmill for the rest of your lives, you better acquire some property, create some relatively passive income. I struggle to call rentals passive income, but let's just say less
Especially single
active.
family homes. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Single family homes are a lot of work, and until you get to large multi units, you're still going to be pretty involved in it. So I do a little bit of both, depending on where I am. I really enjoy the flips because they're so visually rewarding. And as an agent, putting that sign out there and selling it and getting the bigger check at the end, how wonderful is it?
Well,
But a
yeah, not
funny,
only that, but being an agent, you get to double dip, right? So you're
you
you're paying yourself the commission. That's
That's
great.
r- you mumble and complain as you sign the contract, and you've got to pay the agent, but you're also the agent as well. But I do create opportunities for other agents. So I
Yeah.
work with a lot of realtors because customers will come to them and clients will say, "Hey, I want to sell a house," and they know that house is not ready for market. Somebody's looked at a Zillow Zestimate and says this thing's worth $1 million, and you said yes after you invest 200,000 in it. So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
will. I'll also work with other realtors, and when I do work with them, I'll let them get the commission on selling me the property. And when I renovate it, I'll also give them the commission on that sale. So I'll take myself out of the business to reward them for bringing me the lead.
Nice. That's a smart move. Very, very smart. Carlos, what are you finding is working best for you guys these days for generating motivated seller leads?
Whew. It's, we're so Homevestors has a company we work with called Imaginuity. They do a massive amount of data analysis. And data, we all own it, but not everybody has the same data. So I think
Mm.
they've been doing a good job in altering and modifying zip codes. We stay close to our team. We do a lot of mailers, right?
Mm.
Mailers are probably the best return on investment. And when you have a brand and you have a piece of paper or a postcard in there, that works very well. But let's be real, you can't get by these days without doing some pay-per-click stuff as well. And those bring you a lot more volume, but we do find that their closing percentages, it's either going to be a home run or that person has called 20 lenders and wants to have a race to the bottom to see which one of you wants to go broke the quickest.
Yeah, that's no fun. So, Carlos, walk me through. I'm just curious. What does it look like? Because it sounds like, Home Investors does most of the marketing for you. You don't have to worry about the lead gen side of things. So you show up at your desk on Monday morning. You've got a bunch of leads that have shown up, however they've shown up. What do you do? What does that look like to turn that lead into some business for you?
You got it. Yeah, that's a great question. And it's a lot harder than it sounds. But first thing you got to do is connect with that client super quickly. So
Yeah.
there is no waiting for leads from the weekend. If a lead comes
Okay, so it
through,
ain't Monday morning that you're showing up at the desk and leisurely looking over your lead sheet.
You got it. What do they say? The early bird gets the worm, and the person who
Yeah.
gets up next gets whatever's left. So we really try to be responsive. And one reason I went on the was able to make an offer today was he said, I clicked that button, and as soon as I clicked that button, within 5 minutes, my phone rang. So be super responsive. And I don't care whether you're a real estate agent or an investor. Responsiveness is necessary, answering your phone and letting people know you're there for them. We're in a society where being top of mind and the person who shows up first or the most persistent is actually the winner. So we very aggressively get on those leads.
So what does that look like? Are you getting like a ping on your phone anytime a lead shows up, then you're calling them immediately, or is somebody on your staff doing that? What does that actually look like, Carlos?
Wonderful question. Combination thereof.
Yeah.
So if a web lead comes across, we'll get a ping right there. I'll get a text message and an email. That'll go to both me as well as my support team. And I know you had a great podcast recently about using a VA. You
Mhm.
need some support no matter how good you are. So then they would either we race each other to see who can respond to it most quickly, myself or a member of my team. I also, let's be real, there are times where both of us are asleep. So we do have an answering service that is 24/7 that takes those calls. And we use another company to receive those calls, and they would do some of the scheduling and the appointment setting for us. After that point, then I need to go really connect with that person and understand what problem I'm trying to solve. And no matter what business you are, you create, you grow your business by creating trust and value, right? I've got to
Mhm.
show them why we're going to be a great choice, but also create value for them by solving a problem they may not be able to solve without some assistance from me. And then it takes a whole lot of follow up because you put that offer down, you think it's your great offer, you've stretched your margins as thin as they can go, and the other person kind of just sits on it like it's an egg waiting to hatch, right? So we do a tremendous level of follow up, and we're not always the first home buyer or investor that they go with. Many times we pick up deals where other investors have overpromised and underdelivered. And we're there to say, hey, I know a lot of wholesalers don't actually buy the property, but generally, if I can't wholesale the property, I will purchase it. So I do try to do what I say for those clients because they're depending on the proceeds from our transaction in order to live their lives
Yeah.
or move
Get
on with
on
their
with their
life.
life. Yeah, move on with their life, probably.
That's right.
Well, let's dig into that for a minute if you don't mind, Carlos, because I know personally I could use some improvement on my follow-up skills. Most of us could. Walk me through, like you say you guys do really good follow-up. What does that follow-up look like in
Yeah.
actuality?
To somebody who's outside of the business, it almost seems like overkill, right? So when a lead comes through, we're going to hit that lead twice a day for 7 days in a row just to connect with them. And,
Wow.
that may seem like trouble, but the people will often say, I'm so busy. I've been working all the time, but I have this problem. Thank you for reaching out.
Yeah.
And as a
So
buddy of mine,
14, you're hitting them up 14 times over the first week to get the first call, like to get the first actual interaction. Is that correct? After they've opted in for whatever, right?
absolutely. And let's be real, some of us don't like rejection, so we create it ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we don't like, well, they're just ignoring me. I should just go away. But let's be real, we're all bombarded with a lot of information. How many emails do you get, right? How
Two or
many
three a day at least.
it's probably add two zeros after that, knowing a guy like you. But yeah, we do that. So I had to really retrain myself as an investor to think that the more rejection I get, the more money I make. So I
Mm,
actually get excited when someone tells me no, because that means I've done my job. I've created an offer. I built rapport. I've talked about the value structure and what my company brings. And then I try to understand why that no comes as well. So those are all things that I do. So that might be some of the initial follow up. Then let's be real. After that point, they may have gone on and we'll slow it down. We'll slow down our campaigns, but we will follow up. And folks who tell me, hey, no, Carlos, you and home investors can go kick rocks. You can cumber real estate. Well, I don't want anything to do with you. Then I say, no problem at all. Hey, I know you've got a solution or it seems like you got one in hand, but many of these don't close in the first instance. Do you mind if I check on you just to see how it went? Or you use me as a resource if you're not sure which way to go? I'll give you an honest answer, even if it's not in my favor.
Nice, 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 nice. So after you've actually sat down with somebody face to face, made them the offer, they're sitting on it like an egg. Uh, what does that follow up typically look like? Are you phoning them, emailing them, texting them, all of the above? How often? Like what's your cadence for follow up, Carlos?
Yeah, so after the offer comes out, I try to give them some time to think about it, right? But I really don't want them to think about it because that's kind of what do
Yeah.
we all tell a salesperson if we want them to go
Let me
away
think
and
about
ignore
it.
us?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
need to think about it. Hey, I got to talk with my wife. Hey, I'm going to check with my family. So before we even give the offer, I try to make sure all the decision makers are there. But after that point, I'm still going to follow up until I've got a solid, concise no, and then they're still going to go on a drip campaign, right? Until they say I'm done with you. And I even
Yeah.
say, hey, if you've chosen not to, sell your home to me or allow me to purchase your home, I say that's okay. But if you know someone else who we could benefit, I do have a great referral-based system, and
Oh,
we'll
there you
pay up
go.
to $1,000 for it. So I know you didn't get a chance to go with us, but I hope our interactions were positive. And if not, give me some feedback. Help me to be a better problem solver for my clients. So we just embrace the feedback, embrace the suck, as they say, and just continue to be who we are and do our best to solve a problem for them or somebody in their circle.
Oh, that is great, Carlos. As we're wrapping up our conversation here, I'm just curious, what skill sets do you bring from corporate America to this different business venture that you're doing right now with real estate? What's kind of your secret sauce in all of this that just comes easy to you that's more difficult for others?
Well, that's a great question. I don't know if it comes easy is the right word, Dave, because many things people think come easy, like the communication skills. They come from a lot of practice.
Mm.
I'm a paid extrovert. After you and I get off this call, I will not be on any Zoom calls. I don't like talking to strangers. I don't walk down the streets and just, I'm not an outgoing guy. But when I'm at work, when I'm investing, when I'm a realtor, and when I was in corporate America, I was a paid extrovert. So I bring a background as a sales trainer and a multi-unit director. So I got to, learn how to train, teach others how to train and sell. And then I also got to find efficiencies within business or help find an unlock. It's a little more awkward when I'm talking to myself and saying, hey, tell me about your performance last quarter, Carlos. Did you hit
Yeah.
your goals? And if not, why? So I've got to coach myself a little bit. And I oftentimes in my journal, I journal in the morning as well and say, hey, if you were your own coach, what would you tell yourself today? And getting in that type of mindset. So corporate America has taught me a lot. I'm very excited to be out of corporate America because I feel like you get to a choose your own adventure novel here. And people would tell me things wouldn't work in corporate America, and I'd often bend or break the rules, do them anyway, and turn out very successful. But now I wake up every day a little bit panicking that no matter how successful I was last month, last quarter, last year, that I'll need to be better as the market evolves.
Oh, that is brilliant. Carlos, this has been great. If people want to connect with you, where should they go?
Hey, you guys can reach out to me. I'm easy to find. You can just Cumber, my last name like cucumber without the Q, Cumber, realestate.com. You can hit me on the website. You can set up time to talk. And whether you want to buy something, sell something, whatever the case may be, and even if I don't have the right connections, I'll gladly help out with that. So I'll
Awesome,
point you to
Carlos.
anybody.
Well, thanks very much for being on the show and all the best with your business.
Hey, thanks for having me, and I really enjoyed the conversation and hope I gave some value to your audience.
I know you did. All right, everybody, take care. We'll see you on the next one. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now, at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.